Good morning, everyone. This is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my monthly Paper Pumpkin Alternative Projects class. I'm going to give everybody a few seconds to join me this morning. And I also need to get my iPad going. A few announcements before I get started. The door prize for the month of June, and we only have one more week left, is the Kindness and Compassion stamp set. Anyone that places an order with me, your name will be entered into a drawing, and that includes all of my Paper Pumpkin customers. The hostess code for June when placing an online order. Don't forget to enter this number in the hostess code box when you check out, and you'll be pooled with everyone that uses the code to earn some free products from me. And lastly, my group page, Stampin' Ink Designs. If you're not a member, just make sure you search for Stampin' Ink Designs, ask to join, I'll approve you. And I actually have a video on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time for my afternoon tea time and a card. So this month's Paper Pumpkin for June is called A Little Smile. We've got a lot of die cuts, a lot of layers to play with, so this is a lot of fun. This is the projects that are intended if you want to make the kit exactly like it is. But the biggest thing about this kit this month is Paper Pumpkin is pushing us to share a little love. So these are all little mini cards. There's a little holder that comes with it. They're made so that you can create all of the projects, put them in here, put them in your purse, keep them with you, and hand them out throughout the day just to put a smile on someone's face. The little envelopes are so cute. They coordinate with the card, and they have the little pre-printed images on them. So the first one just says, just a little smile. The second one, thank you, it means so much. Okay, I just want to keep the envelopes together. The third one has these cute little palm trees with some coral vellum die cuts. My day is better because of you. And the last one, you are amazing. And again, with the palm tree and the coral die cut. So today what I'm going to do is actually make 3 projects with you. I'm going to take these little mini cards and make some larger cards if you don't want to do the mini cards. I wanted to show you the stamp set that came with the kit. We've got the starfish, the sand dollar, the coral, this little splatter image, and then there's 5 sentiments this month. I wanted to show you guys how I come up with my projects before I start. Remember last month, if you were with me, I messed up on one of my projects before I even got started because this is what I do. I draw out what I want to make. So you can see here that I have 3 cards. And I had told you that one of the projects, after I did it a couple weeks later, I couldn't even understand what I had written and drawn. So this time I have everything written down, so everything should go smooth. So let me start out with card number 1. Now these are the die cuts I'm going to be using. This is vellum. The coral is vellum. And then we have these 2 adorable starfish and sand dollar. I'm going to try to bring them up to see if you can see the glimmer. They're actually on glimmer paper. I'm using the single palm tree because the other one is actually has the little island to go with it. And I have 8 or 9 of the little branches here. And I made a bow ahead of time. The ink colors I'm using today are Coastal Cabana and Pineapple Punch. I've got a sponge for each one. I'm just going to bring in the rest of my supplies. Now I'm actually using sandpaper for this one. I went in my husband's in the garage in his tools and I found a piece of sandpaper, so I just cut it up and it measures 4 inches wide, and I'm going to end up cutting the top of it. I made a stencil using the 2-inch circle punch. with just some white scrap paper. And then I'm using for the card base crumb cake cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So let me fold that. And lastly, a piece of thick Whisper White. This measures 3 inches by 5.5. So now let me bring out my ink pads. Let's see if I can do this with following my notes. Because I don't have cards made up ahead of time, these are all in my head. I'm going to use Coastal Cabana, ink up my sponge. I'm going to start at the top, but I'm going to start on my scrap paper first and then bring it over. Each time I start in the corner and work my way down. That way you don't have lines running everywhere. Okay, and that's all I'm gonna do for the Coastal Cabana. Next, I'm going to bring in the pineapple punch, place my stencil a little bit more towards the right. And I'm just going to sponge a sun in there. And you'll see where the two colors meld together and it creates a really cool look. Okay. Now with the sandpaper, what I'm going to do is bring in some scissors. I want my palm tree to sit in front of the sun just like that. So I'm going to cut just a little shape to make it look like sand. So this is an easy way to make the sand look. It's already done for you. And then I'm going to glue that right there. This doesn't slide like cardstock. It's stuck to my workstation. Now this is going to be a little bit too large. I'm going to actually, okay, let me glue down my palm tree. Okay, so we're going to glue that down. And then I'm going to add my sandpaper. And then I'm going to trim the ends. I saw where someone on another page was asking how to make sand. This is cheating, but it's the quickest way to do it. It's already done for you. It's got that rough texture finish. And look how perfect that looks. Now, let me see what else I've got. I'm going to add all of these. Oh, I forgot one step. See, I wasn't reading my notes already. What I want to do is add this little die cut over the sun that I just created. So let me bring in a scrap. I'm going to use my liquid glue. And this is where I have a sponge that I use, and I just dip it in the glue and then just tap it over the vellum. It's just a quick way, and I keep it in a container so it doesn't get hard on me. I've had this for about 6 months and it's still soft. Okay, now this is going to fit right over the sun. I'm going to bring it close up so you guys can see. Isn't that a cool look? I love the way that the yellow, the pineapple punch peeks out through that little die cut. Now I'm going to go ahead and do up my other little pieces. I have a bottle here that's not flowing. I hope this is the right, yeah, that's the right one. Okay, I'm gonna add that to the bottom of the palm tree. But first I want to sneak in the coral. I think I'm using all of these die cuts on all 3 cards also. Okay, there's the coral. There's the little starfish. And then lastly, we're going to add, let me see if I can do a glue dot first on this one. I'm just gonna go ahead and roll that up. And I'm going to add glue too, just to make sure it stays in place. Okay, so there's all of my 4 little elements that I added to the bottom of the palm tree. Now I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to add some snail across the whole bottom. And this is where I'm going to be using all of these little sprigs. And I'm actually going to flip it over so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm actually going to make a border with my little sprigs. I'm just going to keep adding them. So you can see by using my silicone mat, I can just press down and it grabs it and it does not stick to the mat. And there's a ton of these sprigs in this kit. Okay, so there's my little border. So now all I have to do is glue that to my card and this one will be done, except I need to add a sentiment. And I'm going to glue this off to the right-hand side. I'm going to have to trim the bottom just a little bit. And then let me see what I had for a sentiment. I had, my day is better because of you. So let me bring back in the Coastal Cabana. And you know, I think I'm going to dig out one of my banners because I wasn't sure where I was going to add the sentiment. So let me bring in one of the little banners that came with the kit. Sometimes it's hard to visualize where you want to put everything when you don't have one done ahead of time. Yeah, I like that right there. So I'm going to use the glue dots on this only because it's the sandpaper. And I'm going to put quite a few of them just so it'll stay put. And I'm also going to add liquid glue. And what I might do once I have this glued in place is I'll add a punch to the top of it just to make sure that there's some weight on there. So I would take like this punch and just set it on there to make sure that that dries okay. So that's card number 1. I like the way that you can use the sprigs for a border. So I hope you like that one. Let me set up for card number 2. Okay, card number 2, I'm using Flirty Flamingo and Early Espresso inks. I'm bringing in the Sailing Home stamp set because I'm using the little bird cluster image. So that's the birds. And then for cardstock, I'm actually using Sahara sand. And let me get my notes so I can give you the measurements. So this measures 5.5 by 9 3/8. You're going to score at 2 1/8, 3 1/8, 6 1/4, and 7 1/4. And once my video is done, I'm going to add all the measurements to the post at the top so you can go back and look at that. Whisper white, 2 pieces, 5 1/4 by 2 7/8, 2 pieces, 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. So now this card is actually going to sit like this. It's a stand-up card. We're going to use all of these die cuts. So 2 with the little island of the palm trees, 1 single palm tree. This is a layer I cut off one of the small cards and it measures 2 1/4 by 2 7/8. I've got 2 starfish, 2 sand dollars, and I have some coral here that I colored. I'm going to show you how I did that. I used Flirty Flamingo, and all I did was bring in a sponge dauber, and then I just pounced on the vellum, and you can see how easily it colors. So let me do one more. So if you want to add color to the little corals, this is how you do it. Now let me see if I can figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to start out with the 2 smaller white pieces. We're going to glue down the palm trees on each corner. And then all I'm going to do is trim the end piece. I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. Oh, Beth, that's a good comment. The refills just went up this morning on the website, on the stampingup.com. If you guys need refills, they usually go really quickly. So make sure you go in and order them. Okay, that's my 2 little panels. Now I'm going to add some birds with the little bird image. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do to those 2. Next, we have, let me glue those in place first so I can move them aside. I'm getting ahead of myself. So these go on the end panels. So what we're primarily doing here is creating a little scenery. So there's the first one. There's the second one. And then this one is actually going to sit on the front. So let me go ahead and we're going to use this little piece here. That's going to go on the bottom. And then I'm using the single palm tree. That's going to go right on the dirt. We want it to be sitting on the sand, not in the water. And let me see what else I've got. I'm going to bring my glue back. Well, I don't think I need my glue. I can just use the liquid glue on this one. I'm going to add some coral. So look at the nice pop of color that gives out. I'm going to add 2 corals. And let's see, I don't even know what I was doing here. 2 corals and a sand. I didn't dig out enough sand dollars because I want to add some to the 2 side panels also. Okay, I'm going to add this one here. There's my little starfish. And then I want to add some more birds. I love this little bird image. And let's see, now I need to add some of this stuff. Let me grab my box because I need one more of each of the sand dollar. And where's my starfish? Oh, it's on the same sheet. Look at all of the starfish and sand dollars we got out of this kit. There's so much to play with. So happy with that. Okay, so now I want to add the sand dollar. Sneak the coral in there. And then also another starfish. Whoops. Yes, I've got glue all over my fingers already. I'm going to do the same on this side. And one more. Now let me see what I was going to do for, I was using a banner on this one. So there's my banner. I have a coral left over, but that's okay. And the stamp, the image I'm using is just a little smile on this one. And again, I'm going to use the glue dots to glue that in place. It's going to go right on the bottom. Okay, so that's going to go right on the front. And if you wanted to, you actually could do the little the two little side pieces right here, but I chose not to. So it folds up this way. So it ends up measuring 5.5 by 5.5 when you close it. So you'd have to make an envelope for it. And then I have a white piece here, the same size as the front. And that's actually going to go on the back so that you have a place to leave a little note. So I'm going to flip that over. And that would be the back side. And you can add some of the stamped images on that also. So there's card number 2 for my stand-up card. Isn't that a neat card? So now let me get situated for the last card, card number 3. For card number 3, I'm using Old Olive. Let me get to my notes. And I've got 2 sentiments on this one, and I'm also using the linen thread. I have 2 single palm trees, the one with the little island, a couple of the sand dollars and the starfish, whoops, and then some of the coral. Now this one, I am using Old Olive. Measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4, and then you just fold it like a Z. So this is a Z fold. Whisper white 4 by 5 1/4. Let me do all the white first. Whisper white 5 1/4 by 1 7/8. And then I have 2 pieces measuring 2.5 by 3 3/4. So there's 4 pieces of white. Coastal Cabana, 5 inches by 3 3/4, and 5 inches by 1 5/8. And then this is the panel. All I did with the little mini card is cut it on the score line. So this is the exact measurement of the card, just cut on the score line. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue the white. That's going to go on the inside. Coastal Cabana, same thing, that's going to go on the inside. So how many of you guys order more than 1 kit each month? This is such a great kit to be able to hand out to people. So I hope you have more than 1 kit. I always order 2. I'm going to glue the white to the front panel. And that's going to close like this. And then this is going to be glued right to the bottom. And I am going to have to trim the end just a tad. So this is on the white. So let me just trim this. Next, I'm using the white, and I'm only going to add the glue to the half. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to glue this down. You know what? I kind of like it with just the white. I think that would be too busy anyway. So I'm just going to keep the white for the background. Next, I'm going to center this white piece that I just added glue to. It's going to go right there. And let me see what I've got for sentiments. I've got thank you and you made my day. So I'm going to do the first one on the front. I should have stamped it before I glued this down. Next is the palm trees. So I've got 2 single palm trees, and you can see here where I covered one of them, but that's okay because we're going to add this one on top. So it's kind of flowing from the bottom layer to the top layer. And then I'm going to add a second one right there. And here comes all of the goodies. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these. I just have a bunch of them out here just to glue in place. And I have glue all over my fingers. I am so tacky right now. Okay, there's one of the corals. I usually keep a little wet cloth next to me, and I didn't dig one out this time. Let's see, we'll add one of the sand dollars. And if you joined me late, I'll bring all 3 cards back in for you guys to see. Okay, there's my little cluster, maybe. It's sticking to my fingers. Okay, now what I want to do is I want this to be on the inside, but I don't want it sticking out where it's going to look funky. So I want it exactly below this one. So I'm actually going to add liquid glue in the middle. I'm going to line this up together like this. And press it down. So, oh look, this won't stay because it keeps sticking to me. You know what, I'm gonna have to add some glue dots because it's just, I've got too much sticky glue all over me. Let's do this again. You guys get to see this because it's a live video. Okay, that's better. So now when you get this card, it looks, you know, like this in the front, and then when you open it up, that panel is right there. Isn't that neat? It's a little crooked though. Let me see if I can move it. I just need to move it just a tad. And then I want to add this printed panel on the inside. And then I just wanted to add all 3 of the little elements on the inside also. I should have just done these with glue dots. Anyway, that comes with the kit, but I don't like the glue dots that come with the kit. They're just so tedious for me. I'd rather use my own. Okay, so that's the inside. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the sentiment. So thank you, it means so much. You made my day special. So there's card number 3. I wonder if I should add some birds to this one. I think I should. What do you think? I think I'm going to. It just needs something else. Yeah, it needed birds. See how cute that is? And then let's see, we'll add some more on the inside too. There, now that all coordinates. So let me bring all of the cards back in. So this was card number 1 where I used the sprigs to create a border, and I used the sandpaper. This is a stand-up card number 2. And then a Z fold for card number 3. And I don't even know where the original little packet went with all my cards. Oh, here it is. So these were the original cards that came with the kit. So let me dig all 4 of those out too. And for those of you that are subscribers of mine, I'll have some more alternatives in your monthly newsletter. So I hope you enjoyed my projects for today, everyone. I'm so glad you joined me. And I will be back on Wednesday on my Stamp and Ink Designs page with my afternoon tea timer card at 3 p.m. Have a nice day, everyone.